Yes, if you go into luxury watches, you're paying more for a worse watch. Let me explain why. Look at that shiny toy. Wouldn't that look nice on your wrist? Call it mass-produced wearable art, because that's exactly what it is. Imagine this scenario. You walk into a Mercedes dealership and get your car after waiting 2 years to get it. You finally get to buy and drive it, you take the car out of its dealership, and it runs just as good, if not worse than a Prius. But it feels smooth and premium, and the steering is slightly off, but you drive for years, maintaining it, taking care of it. It's a trophy car, but it does its job worse while only looking better. This would never happen, right? That's exactly the case with a lot of high-end watches. Look at brands like Audemars Piguet, Rolex, Patek Phillipe,
Hublot.
The watches are amazing in looks and style, with premium materials being used, but telling the time? That's an add-on. Imagine multiple teams of people putting in craftsmanship, spending time and effort with very intricate parts to make something that is actually worth telling the time. Would you want to buy such a product? It's also art that you will probably never be able to fully appreciate, because the actual beauty on the watch is behind it. So you have to turn the watch over for people or you to actually appreciate it. I mean, there are many companies and people from the jewellery industry that sell watches, and that should tell you something about the watch industry. It's mostly mass-produced, intricate jewellery. There's also a huge self-contradiction made by watch enthusiasts. They love Rolexes, Patek Philippe, etc., but hate on Hublot. Not long ago I hated him too, but let's be real, Rolex isn't doing any better. The hate against Hublot is for it being overpriced. Well, guess how much a Rolex costs to make? Only 3/5 of what you bought it for. And a lot out of that is spent out on marketing and promotion anyways. The materials on some of them cost 1/5 of what you bought it for. They're both mechanical jewelry and a status symbol that tells time. The sooner you understand that, the better. For most people, it's another way to flex your wealth rather than being something you actually value. And that's if you bought it straight from the watch manufacturer. There is a brand though, which does both low-end and relatively high-end watches, while also making the calculator your grandpa used. These are built for war. Casio Godchild. Not to be confused with Casio Edifice, Casio Sheen, Casio Baby T, Casio Oceanus, or Casio Protrek, or Casio. Now, Casio is well known and used by many people, and these watches are usually the first step of getting into watches for collectors. Older watches are relatively amazing value for money because they are no BS timekeepers.
Okay, that's cool, but do they have any expensive versions? Why, yes, they do. Don't worry, even one of the most respectable watch brands isn't afraid to make you care about exclusivity.
There are many models, but today we'll talk about the MTG and MRG models because I know you're probably interested. Before we continue, here's a message from the Watch Rights organization. Lab G-Shocks, tortured every day. Every time it's time to advertise a G-Shock, a poor Casio gets tortured for being built there. These timepieces do not deserve to be treated this way. Please call 1-800-G-PAIN to help report or support our organization to stop the shocks from being shocked. As I was saying, these are titanium built, steel hardened, and premium built watches with amazing craftsmanship. Even though the durability tests for these watches make me feel like I'm watching a classified FBI interrogation video, the watches come out to be pretty well made. Almost all MRG and MTG models from G-Shock have solar power and Bluetooth. The latter might not be that interesting, but you don't have to worry about battery unless the sun decides to cease existing, in which case you have bigger problems at hand. You see, G-Shock watches don't sell on the history of the manufacturer, complications, or market speculation. They sell because of their value for money, durability, and ease of access, along with a brand tier list for prices with watch quality. This is the brand tier list, a sales funnel to get you to buy their top models finally. I mean, look at this evolution. There's Casio, watching you grow up, and then eventually start a Hublot collection because you got rich. Most watches Casio sells on the affordable side have a more premium and expensive version with the same aesthetic, and it feels like you will eventually upgrade to the most premium version they have to offer. But with MRG and MTG, i.e. luxury G-Shocks, they don't follow in the footsteps of luxury brands by keeping supply relatively in line with demand. They still charge you dumb prices though, not gonna lie. MRG and MTG are both premium, but the MRG lineup has a full metal construction, which is what I would prefer. Each watch in this lineup has a concept it's made on, and then there's G-Steel, Protrek, and Oceanus. For some reason, I feel like the G-Steel is a middle finger to Hublot. I don't know why, I just have a feeling. G Still is kind of a mid-range series that has watches hovering around the $200 to $500 range. Then there's Protrek. We don't talk about Protrek. I mean, look at them. And then there's Casio's attempt at a proper luxury lineup, Oceanus. With limited releases and premium builds, they provide functionality while being an A-level watch. Still on quartz though. Anyways, don't think Casio comes out as a hero, because they still want your money and they'll gladly take it, but at least they won't be picky about it and give you more bang for your buck.